Good evening, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Burke Brigade on this special Friday night edition. I'm Matthew Burke.
And I'm Jennifer Burke.
And we are the Burke Brigade, brought to you by the Liberty Daily. The Liberty Daily, your
conservative alternative to the Drudge Report.
Go to thelibertydaily.com, thelibertydaily.com. You'll want to go there several times a day, as the site is updated very, very frequently with the latest news that you need to go out into the world and make a positive difference in this great country. Okay, we're going to start out. We didn't do a podcast last night. We apologize for that. But we were wrapped up late listening to the great Ben Shapiro, the conservative brainiac. He is so smart, it hurts.
Protege of Andrew Breitbart. Andrew Breitbart met Ben Shapiro. I guess there was some coffee shop near whatever university Ben Shapiro went to in California.
Yeah.
And Andrew Breitbart had the campus newspaper. And he read an article written by Ben Shapiro. And he said he contacted him and asked if he wanted to meet. And they forged a friendship. And Ben Shapiro worked at Breitbart for a long time. He's a protege, and I'll tell you what, he learned the fighting spirit. I don't know that there's anyone. I mean, you look at him, the things he says, does, he learned well from Andrew Breitbart.
But completely different personalities.
Completely different personalities.
You know, Andrew was more of a street fighter, you know, where Shapiro is an intellectual.
Intellectual prowess.
With a sharp tongue who
Right.
will cut you with a butter knife.
Right. It's interesting. It's hilarious actually to watch these lefties think they can out-debate him because they simply can't. They'll stand up with these handwritten questions trying to sound smart, thinking they're going to confuse him, and then he'll just tear him up.
They try to trick him, and they walk. They run away like a dog with their tail between their legs.
Thank you, Mr. Shapiro.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Ben. You know, so we've got a clip here. And by the way, you know, this weekend I would highly recommend, if you're a red-blooded American, if you're a conservative, if you love the country, or you know, if you're a Tea Partier like we are, listen to the entire speech. It is well worth it, and especially the question and answer period at the end is just priceless. We've got the whole thing on one of our websites, The Politistic, on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and search for The Politistic, subscribe to our channel, and you will see the whole thing there if you do a search. But one of the little commies at the little useful idiots at Berkeley, which is a communist brainwashing institution, tried to ask Shapiro about the left's favorite topic, which is murdering babies, and was really just put in his place. So let's just listen.
My question was about abortion, and I just wanted to know, why exactly do you think a first trimester fetus has moral value?
First of all, this is a stupid-ass question. Well, Mr. Shapiro, why shouldn't we just be able to kill babies? Thank you, Mr. Shapiro. Freak.
Okay, so a first trimester fetus has moral value because whether you consider it a potential human life or a full-on human life, it has more value than just a cluster of cells. If left to its natural processes, it will grow into a baby. So the real question is, where do you draw the line? So you're going to draw the line at the heartbeat, because it's very hard to draw the line at the heartbeat. There are people who are adults who are alive because of a pacemaker. They need some sort of outside force generating their heartbeat. Okay, are you going to do it based on brain function? Okay, well, what about people who are in a coma? Should we just kill them? Right? The problem is, anytime you draw any line other than the inception of the child, you end up drawing a false line that can also be applied to people who are adults. So either human life has intrinsic value or it doesn't. I think we both agree that adult human life has intrinsic value. Can we start from that premise?
I believe that sentience is what gives something moral value, not necessarily
Pause it.
being a
Sentience.
Dude, you think you can throw out some
word.
Some big sounding word.
2-bit,
to
multi-syllable.
Ben Shapiro.
Sentience. It's got sentience, Mr.
You hear
Shapiro.
the smugness in his voice. I believe you're talking about sentience.
You know, he just got out of class with his Marxist professor brainwashing him. Ask Mr. Shapiro about sentence. He'll think it's a sentence. Good God.
A human alone.
Okay,
Because
so when you're asleep, can I stab you?
I'm still considered sentient when I'm asleep.
Okay, if you are in a coma from which you may awake, can I stab you?
Well then, no. I guess not. I mean,
I'm glad you answered that because I have no interest in actually murdering you.
You idiot!
But that's still potential sentience, and it's still a potential.
So's a baby! Oh, this is where he walks into Shapiro's trap. He is trapped.
I agree, it is potential sentience. You know what else is potential sentience? Being a fetus.
Boom!
The issue.
Hey, dude. Yeah.
Give it a rest.
That's what has potential to a baby that you want to murder. So much for your sentence argument.
What I have with that though is that if I'm in a coma and I'm not like doing anything to anyone, I'm not causing any issues amongst the world. Whereas an unwanted child may or may not be a burden to people.
Pause it.
The baby's
So
not
you're
hurting anybody
basically-
either.
You just admitted that it's a child, and you're making the argument that, well, if someone doesn't want him, they should be allowed to kill him.
Yeah.
So if someone has a 5-year-old and then now all of a sudden they're unwanted, can the parents just kill it?
Oh, of course. I mean,
Kill
the
him?
left is pro-infanticide. You know, going back to Margaret Sanger, we talk about that all the time. Hillary's mentor.
Yeah, but there are lots of people who are unwanted, right? I mean, there are lots of people's parents who are unwanted, right? We're a bunch of college students.
You know, like this guy. Like, if I was his parent, I wouldn't want him because he's an idiot. So does that mean I can kill him? Apparently so, if you're a lefty.
The problem is that now you're shifting the argument, right? Before you were making the argument based on the intrinsic value of a life based on sentience, and now you're talking about the level of burden that somebody presents as a separate moral argument. Okay, I don't believe that you being a burden on somebody is justification for them killing you, as a general rule.
I'll leave it at that, but I appreciate you and thank you.
No thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. Shapiro. Can I have another?
I'll leave it at that because I just got my ass handed to me and it hurts. Sentience. Come on, man. I mean, these guys got to come with a better game if they're gonna try to nail Shapiro. Ain't gonna happen. Okay, we're gonna go from Ben Shapiro to the excellent topic of boobs here. That's boobs as in B-O-O-B-S. So Clay Travis was on with CNN's
Tell everybody who Clay Travis is now, huh? They might not know.
He's on Fox Sports Radio. He's on Fox Sports 1.
And
he also has Outkick the Coverage.
Outkick the Coverage.
Yeah, he's the founder of OutkickTheCoverage.com. And he was ensnaring. Is that a word? Ensnaring?
Yes.
Ensnaring, triggering CNN host Brooke Baldwin and the other guest who's on there. He's a social justice warrior, commie, and it's hilarious because Clay Travis, he goes, the only things I believe in absolutely are the First Amendment and boobs. Those are the only thing. And oh my gosh, and he says
trigger warning.
Yeah, he says it deadpan, and of course the social justice warrior over there. And this is on the Politistics YouTube channel too. But he's got his race card all locked and loaded, right? But Travis pulls a switcheroo and goes what they would call sexist, right? Because God knows men can't like boobs.
Yeah. Brooke Baldwin, do you go after Victoria's Secret for their...
I think
shows.
Boobs are quite popular, but he's saying it deadpan. He's totally straight-faced.
He's baiting her.
He's totally baiting
her.
Yeah, so let's listen. This is worth the listen. It's funny, and she gets so triggered. She goes into full snowflake mode that she actually cuts the segment short. I'm out. I'm done.
I'm a First Amendment absolutist. I believe in only two things completely: the First Amendment and boobs. And so once they made the decision that they were not going to allow a conservative, non-sports related commentary, they couldn't do it. Hold on.
I just want to make sure I heard you correctly as a woman anchoring the show. Did you say, what did you say? You believe in the First Amendment and BWBS?
Boobs. Two things that have only never let me...
Pause it. So you could say it the first time, Brookie babe, but then you had to spell it. Notice she said boobs.
Right.
And then she
turns it into a dirty word.
Yes.
But yet, on CNN, they have the fake Republican on there. Remember how absolutely berserk she went over Trump's video about grabbing women by the pussy, and she said pussy over and over and over again on CNN. That wasn't a problem.
Right.
But you have some guy on here that may be a little bit conservative or to the right, and oh my God, he said boobs? Oh my God, trigger warning.
Down in this entire country's history, the First Amendment and boobs. So those are the only two things I believe in absolutely in the country. And so I don't think Jemele Hill should be fired, but I do think...
Jemele Hill was the black supremacist who's calling Donald Trump a white supremacist, and she's an ESPN hater host.
Straight up, that once you make the decision that you are going to let Kurt Schill go, that you have to also make the decision that you're going to let Jemele Hill go. I think that's a bad decision. I think ESPN has made bad decisions that have led to 13 million.
It cut out there, but he was saying if you're going to, fire Kurt Schilling, then you also have to fire her. And as we all know, ESPN fired Kurt Schilling for much less.
Million subscribers bailing on the network. They've made bad decisions that have led to ratings collapsing. Jemele Hill's television show is collapsing. Ratings were down 20% last week over last year. I think that's why she's angry. I think that's why she went after Donald Trump. She's begging for ESPN to fire her so she can work somewhere else.
Okay. Keith, what do you think?
Listen, I'm
There's the commie.
That almost everything I just heard.
Keith Reed.
One of the things that, and Jemele's...
Keith Reed, a former ESPN senior editor, he
said
he didn't agree with anything that he just said. He couldn't believe what he just heard or something.
not just the colleague.
Listen to Clay Travis. He's just laughing at him.
They fell for it.
Trap succeeded.
But a personal friend. One of the things that Jemele's had to deal with her entire career, and many women who I'm friends with in this business and have been friends with in this business for a long time, is sexism, blatant sexism, comments about her appearance, comments about her racially, comments about her inability or perceived inability to be able to comment on sports because of her gender.
Oh yeah, she's the victim. She's the victim. She calls the president of the United States a white supremacist. Somehow she's the victim.
What does that have to do with her dealing with comments about her looks or whatever? Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Absolutely nothing.
Not a damn thing.
That gives her the right to call Trump and everyone surrounding him white supremacists.
She has the right to do it, but she doesn't have the right to not receive pushback.
So for somebody to come on CNN and to say something like the only thing I believe in a discussion
I'm still there too, and I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. BOOZE or BOOBS?
Come on, man.
What is BOOBE?
No, ZE, booze. She goes, maybe
God,
he meant booze.
Feign your outrage, your fake outrage somewhere else.
You should see her facial expressions. They're just classic.
As a woman, I'm...
Oh, you're a woman? You can't say that because sex is a social construct.
It's a social construct, and it's ever-evolving.
You're not a woman.
There's no such thing as females and women, Brooke.
Right. I mean, you could snap your fingers
Men
and be a
can
man.
have periods nowadays, according to your brethren on the left.
Maybe you have a wiener, Brooke.
As in boobs. I believe completely in the First Amendment and in boobs. Those are the only two things I believe 100% in this country. And by the way,
he is so owning them right now. They're just like so triggered. You should see the hateful look on this Keith Reed's face.
Okay, you know what just came to my mind looking at Brooke's fake facial outrage? that picture that Morning Joe took years before it was revealed that they were an item. Probably they were both still married to other people.
Who, Micah?
Yes, when Micah Brzezinski is in a tight-fitting shirt and skirt, laying on a table with her legs
up in the air,
and Joe Scarborough next to her.
That's not suggestive or anything.
Yeah, Brooke, where were you on that?
She don't care. She don't care about that.
Mel has
Why are you
absolutely
sitting
nothing
here
to do with
live
her
on
background
CNN?
at all.
Speak about-
Immediately, did you notice that?
Because you invited him on, and you know he's provocative. You know he, says outrageous things sometimes to get under Lefty's skin.
And you fell for the bait, Brooke.
Which is very fun to do.
You fell for the bait.
Yeah, you took it
Hook,
deeply.
line, and sinker.
He went straight to that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did go
Guys,
straight
why
to
would
that.
you even say that live on national television and with a female?
He didn't say he was a fan of your boobs, Brooke. Maybe.
Yeah.
Are you worried that he doesn't like them?
I mean, she's showing enough cleavage right now. She's obviously trying to get men to like her.
Exactly. If you are showing cleavage,
Why
Brooke,
do you got half your chest showing if
why are
you
you showing
don't like
cleavage
boobs?
if you're so against people talking about boobs? You should try to cover yours up.
Cover 'em
Wear
up.
a burlap sack.
Sexist!
Host.
I say it live on the
even
radio
go
all the
there?
time because it's true, and that's what I do. Because I like boobs and the First Amendment, which is exactly what I said.
Listen, Brooke. I think that speaks for itself. I love the First Amendment as well. I also love women, and as
You don't love boobs too?
As one who truly. I'm not going to talk about that on television because it's irrelevant to the topic. It shouldn't be brought up here.
Why not?
I am a supporter of women in their careers. I'm a supporter and a staunch supporter of women like Brooke, who I've shared the airwaves with before, and like Jamel, who is a personal friend of mine for a long time. And to have that even,
I'm sorry.
to have her anatomy brought up, to have anyone's anatomy brought up in this conversation.
Done. This is done.
Completely
This is
derails.
conversation over. Yanking mics. Bye. See ya.
So she was just triggered beyond all repair. That's your Clay Travis boob segment triggering Lefty Keith Reed or whatever his damn name is, and Brooke Baldwin. So speaking of Clay Travis and speaking of sports, this is on PJ Media, which is a very good conservative news and commentary site. Clay Travis, he said that Fox Sports, you think Fox maybe leans to the right a little bit?
No. It wasn't so much leaning to the right all that much even a year or so ago, and then since the Suns took it over,
they got
left.
Right. But he is saying that Fox Sports demands that on-air talent toe the liberal line. Clay Travis says that's on pjmedia.com. You can find it there. I'm not going to go into it, but it's pretty self-explanatory there. So Kurt Schilling, who was fired by ESPN, over his political views,
which was nothing compared to what Jamel Hill said.
No, but he was on Sean Hannity's radio show on Wednesday, and he said, quote, this is from Breitbart, Jamel Hill, she's the one that called Trump a white supremacist, has always been a racist. The things that she says, the things that she does, I don't have a problem with the fact that Jamel Hill is racist, that Bomani Jones is racist, and Colin Kaepernick knelt for a lie, and that Disney and ESPN, who they own, support liberal racism, Schilling told Hannity. I have a problem with them lying about it and acting as if it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Right. Kurt Schilling. I mean, the man is a legend.
And he wasn't... I mean, I know he did. He got in hot water because he did a meme showing a grotesque tranny, looked like about a 60-year-old fat man dressed up like a woman.
Right.
And it said something derogatory to trannies who have a mental illness.
Right.
Because
so you can't,
they don't know if they're a man or a woman. They're confused.
Criticizing trannies.
You can't.
Or
Muslims. Terrorists.
Or Barack Obama, the first half-black president of the United States, will get you fired. But calling the sitting president of the United States, who happens to be white, a white supremacist, and all the other vulgar, ridiculous things you said about Trump, if you're a black host, you're okay. You'll just get a slight
slap on
the wrist and a statement from ESPN that her views do not mesh with ours. Now, wasn't it Steele? What was her first name? Steele?
It's not Shelby Steele.
No.
Sage Steele.
Sage Steele. Didn't she work for ESPN?
Yeah.
Now she's also black. She's biracial actually. She's weathered a lot of attacks from people on social media because she's biracial. She's married to a white guy, and people attack her for her
conservative views.
Because and then attack her interracial relationship and her biracialness and her conservative views.
Mostly
and
the
she's
conservative
a military.
views.
She was a military brat.
Right.
Her dad was in the military. She has great pride for the country. She highly criticized Colin Kaepernick for his anti-America national anthem flag sitting. She's expressed her conservative views on social media, never being vulgar about it. Just basically, stating what she believes, saying what many people believe, that, these guys who want to protest against America while they're getting paid millions of dollars to play football, they really need to think twice about what exactly they're doing, because they've been afforded opportunities that some people only dream of. ESPN denied that she got demoted, but she used to host, be like a regular host or commentator. I think it was basketball or something. And then they relegated her to, I forget what it was they put her to, but it was something where she was going to have to travel quite a bit to do it, and it was not as high profile of a position. Mm-hmm. And people were wondering if they were trying to force her out because she does have young kids. So it was going to completely change her life compared to what she had been doing at ESPN. So, black conservative host expresses conservative views and a love of her country, that will get you demoted. But black, far left whack job loon calling the sitting white president of the United States a white supremacist and everything else she said about Trump, that will just get you a slap on the wrist and probably in a month or two an award from some liberal group.
And you know what? I would give up certain male body parts. I would bet you certain male body parts that if Curt Schilling would have called Barack Obama a racist, he would have been fired from the same exact company. But because Jamil is black, she gets to call the president a white supremacist.
No, not because she's black, because she's a black liberal.
Yeah, correct. Thank you. Correct. She's a black leftist. She can do whatever the hell she wants. So there's obviously a double standard here. There's one for leftists, and there's one for conservatives, and it's exactly the opposite. Okay, we're gonna do a little switcheroo here, move away from Curt Schilling to St. Louis. So there was a decision, a legal decision in St. Louis, Missouri, where a black cop shot in the line of, a white cop in the line of duty shot a black criminal, and they didn't like the decision, of course. So what do? You riot, of course. That's what the left does. So they're assaulting police, they're assaulting camera women, they're assaulting reporters, and it's the Black Lives Matter terrorists that are doing this. And one of our friends you probably heard the beep in the background, but apparently they've This is from the St. Louis, Missouri Police. If you want to see the latest what's going on there, it's at S as in Sam, L as in Larry, M as in Mo, P as in police, D as in department, SLMPD, at SLMPD. Agitators have destroyed property of at least one business in the hashtag CWE.
Because that'll change things. That'll change the outcome.
I'm not sure what CWE is in all honesty, but it says at St. Louis Public Library. So I wonder if they went into, try to destroy a public library for the children.
Right. For the children. For the children.
Unbelievable. And, you could look, there's on their Twitter thread, there's videos of these violent thugs jumping up and down on cop cars like animals.
Bashing in the windows. And
they should have the National Guard out there cracking some skulls to get these people in line. I remember when Reagan dealt with Berkeley and brought in the National Guard and they started shooting rubber bullets at it. And the cowards backed down. The only reason they're doing this is because they know the leftists will allow them to get away with this crap. What they want to do is they want to destroy America. They want to destroy America by beginning with chaos. They want mayhem. They want anarchy. And they want to destroy law and order. And, to the President of the United States that was supposed to be a law and order president, he should be, I know the governor is responsible for calling in the National Guard, but he should be using his bully pulpit and his influence to make that happen. Now, I've heard that the National Guard was called in, but they're on standby. In other words, they're sitting around watching as these thugs try to destroy another American city.
As these thugs were given room
and they're not allowed to do their job. And now last night, it was a different matter, and it was only because they were pressured that Berkeley finally allowed their cops to do their job and get these thugs in line and start arresting people instead of watching them create mayhem. They started arresting people, and Ben Shapiro was allowed to speak without any major incidences.
Well, there weren't even crazy disruptive liberal loons in the audience.
No, they didn't allow it. I mean, the police, National Guard, whatever it takes, will do their job if they're allowed to do it.
Right, and what's ridiculous is, the left tried to prevent Ben Shapiro from speaking, they called him a white supremacist. Ben Shapiro is a Jewish man, 5'9", Jewish guy. Where is it? How you say it? Yarmulke?
Yarmulke.
He gets things tweeted at him. Him being put in the oven, his children being put in the oven because he's Jewish, and so that's the attacks. He's been attacked by these racist alt-righters. But the thing is, the left, what they're trying to do is trying to make it like every single person that doesn't fall in line with their Marxist ideology is an alt-right Nazi racist. That's what they're trying to make you believe.
Fascist.
So
we're anti-fascist.
They're saying that try to portray Ben Shapiro as a fascist and white supremacist Nazi.
So they're calling a Jew a Nazi. Do you see any problem with that?
Remember we saw that there was some girl that at Berkeley that some reporter was talking to, and she called Ben Shapiro a Nazi, and the reporter looked at her and said, "He's Jewish." And she goes, "Oh, I didn't realize that."
Oh my God,
She's
I missed that.
Just repeating what she heard.
Where is that
clip? Just repeating what she heard.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because that's what the left does. They tell the big lie, just like Hitler taught them, and you say it loud and you repeat it over and over and over and over and over again. Just like Trump's a racist, Trump's a racist, Trump Russia, Trump Russia, Trump Russia. Nothing to it, but they repeat it over and over and over again as if it's true in order to make it true, and it creates what is called a narrative. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, of course it's true, even though there's no facts behind it. So that's the deal there. It's okay. I want to hear those beeps. They're okay with the beeps. People, you're okay with beeps, right? Because I want to hear Christina's updates on the mayhem that's going on. Oh my gosh! So she just sent a picture here. Oh yeah, here's the windows broken out at a St. Louis public library. Absolutely terrible.
Because that'll change the verdict.
For the children. Because the Black Lives Matters terrorists, they're doing it for the children. Somehow breaking the windows of public libraries is going to help the children.
Or it's going to change the outcome of the judge's verdict.
So I hope some little black kid that needs to go to the library and do his homework assignment tomorrow has another library he can go to, because this one is not going to be accessible because of all the glass all over the place. But speaking of Commie Colleges, there is some good news. And you know what? All the news is bad, pretty much. But there is some good news. There's some really good news. These leftist communist brainwashing centers, also known as American universities. Obviously, I'm not talking about every single one. We have a son that goes to Arizona State, and he was raised knowing right from wrong. I always tell him, do not let them brainwash you. You keep your eyes peeled. And he always tells me, Dad, you would love my econ professor. He's totally free market. He's not a Keynesian. He understands, supply and demand, et cetera, et cetera. He sounds like you, Dad. So that is a good thing. We're not talking about every single one, but we are talking probably of the majority.
Far too many.
Far too many. We're not talking about great institutions like Hillsdale College, maybe Liberty University, some others out there. But, okay, so this is from the Washington Times. And the deal is, these far left loon colleges are seeing their enrollment drop dramatically. Now, this is the free market. This is the free market working. Okay, this is from the Washington Times. And the name of the story is Enrollment Drops at Schools Known for, quote, Social Justice Warfare. In other words, communist rioters. Universities known for hotbeds of campus protest and liberal activism are struggling with declining enrollments and budget shortfalls. Can we get an amen? And some applause.
Amen! Ray's even up.
Ray? We got a dog that barks when we start talking about commies. Ray, you're not doing your job. You're supposed to bark when I talk about commies. He's a corgi. Okay, so, and higher education analysts say that's no coincidence. Of course it's not. You know what? Most American parents. Oh, we just got an alert. The National Guard is active now, which is what should have been done from the beginning.
Yes, hashtag too late.
Yep.
4 cops have been assaulted as protests turned violent. At least 2 ended up being transported to the hospital, 1 in serious condition after being hit in the head by bricks.
By the loving left. This is a loving left, a tolerant, peace-loving left.
The ones that CNN described as peaceful.
Peaceful protesters. They're probably calling them peaceful protesters.
Their tactics might not be exactly
may not
right,
be exactly
but
perfect.
Their intentions are noble.
Oh yeah, because they're commies like we are.
Them.
And they're not perfect people. They're not exactly perfect. Maybe they do things a little different than I would. God, shameful. Okay, take Oberlin College, which is literally just a
bastion. Hey,
Bolsheviks.
Isn't Barack Obama a graduate of Oberlin College? That's where he did his undergrad.
Is it?
I believe. Let me double check.
Look it up. According to a document leaked to the Oberlin Review, the school's student newspaper, the small liberal arts college, famous for social justice hoaxes, has had trouble attracting and retaining students. Listen to this. Listen to this. Missing this year's enrollment mark by 80. And racking up a $5 million budget deficit. They have that little college has a $5 million deficit.
Wow.
And you know, there was a story the other day that Mizzou, you know, which...
They've been on the decline.
Yes, they're having a hard
Every
time
year.
attracting students.
And parents withdrew their students after that incident of
Yeah.
that professor getting in the face of that reporter who happened to be of Asian
Can I get some muscle over here?
Yep.
The famous redhead shouting, "Hey, can I get some muscle over here to crack some eggs?" William A. Jacobson, a professor at Cornell Law School who runs the Legal Insurrection blog, which is excellent, said, quote, "The most obvious culprit in Oberlin's dwindling admissions is relentless social justice warfare. Quote, social justice warfare at Oberlin has been more intense and sustained over a longer period of time than at most schools and has come to define Oberlin in the media," Mr. Jacobson said. Quote, "The resulting mockery and derision, even in liberal publications, has damaged the Oberlin brand. Good. Oberlin sucks. It sucks." Surveys support the notion that in the era of Trump, conservatives have become more skeptical about the value of a college degree, and I have too. The polarizing presidential election was felt in the dip in applicants at some top-tier colleges, such as Ohio's Kenyon College. Kenyon College? Maybe Obama went to...
Actually, I just saw he went to Occidental College.
Occidental.
Yeah.
You were close. Started with
close.
O. That's a lefty. Occidental's a lefty.
Yeah, well, it might be even more lefty than Oberlin. I'm looking
That's
to see,
not
though,
possible.
when Michelle Obama spoke at Oberlin. I want to see what she told them.
Oh. Hammer and sickle. Hammer and sickle. Okay, so Chelsea Handler. I mean, this goes to show how utterly idiotic these people are. She has a show. Where is it?
Netflix.
On Netflix has got some good stuff, but they've got these shows with
These leftists.
these leftist lunatics, like her and who's the other one?
Bill Nye, the science guy. Doesn't he have something?
Oh,
on Netflix?
Bill Nye, the fake science guy,
Bill Nye,
the global
the
warming fraud,
/ fake science guy.
right?
So yeah, Chelsea Handler. You know, I had never even heard her at all. You know, she's supposedly some comedian. I'm actually disgusted.
Is she a comedian?
Her show supposedly is like the Daily Show. From
Is
what
it
I've read.
is it funny or is she just on there because she's a lefty?
A mean girl. Seems to me like she's just
Mean
a
girl.
mean girl, a leftist mean girl. But the other night, she of course was attacking the Trump administration, and I'm not a huge fan of Trump. Matthew and I have talked about where we stand with Donald Trump. When he does something good, great. When he doesn't, we'll call him out. We've never believed throughout the whole process of the election. We didn't buy these conversion stories of him becoming a conservative because there was no evidence. There was no, you couldn't cite exactly when it happened. There was just nothing.
You know, it reminds. Let me just interject something real quick, hon. It reminds me of what Trump reminds me of what my 8th grade principal used to tell me when I got called into the office on a regular basis. He'd say, "Burke, when you're good, you're really, really good. But when you're bad, you're really, really bad." And that's Trump. He does some good stuff. But
then he shoots himself in the foot by getting in bed with libs.
Yeah, you create an administration of libs, people that your base would have never supported.
Never.
These globalist Goldman Sachs cucks, you know, and get in bed with Pelosi and Schumer is like going to bed with Satan himself.
Right. So I don't want to get into everything Chelsea Handler because, you know, I'll shed light on the asinine thing that she said. Remember the whole narrative that, what was his name? The whole Trayvon Martin thing, George... Zimmerman, yeah. The white Hispanic. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, he's a white Hispanic.
Media calling him a white Hispanic. The man had pretty dark skin. Yes, his last name was Zimmerman. He was a white Hispanic. He looked Hispanic. But, of course, they had to try to frame it to fit their narrative.
But yet Obama is the first black president, even though he's half white.
Even though he's half white. But when he wanted to be, he was the first Jewish president.
Oh, everybody!
Yeah, I haven't said this, hon. I know I'm taking a break from Chelsea Handler. Matthew has always laughed at me when I said, you know, because Barack Obama grew up in Indonesia and then in a wealthy, affluent neighborhood in Hawaii, where his grandparents sought out a communist. What was his name?
Huh?
His mentor?
Oh, Frank Marshall Davis.
To mentor Barack Obama.
Card-carrying communist. The FBI has got a copy of his Communist Party USA membership card.
So I've long said, I think if they had Barack Obama watch episode upon episode upon episode of The Jeffersons,
God, you're racist.
To try to quote unquote act black, because if you listen to him speak at times when he tries to get his quote black voice on, or because he changed his voice. When he talked to black people, he completely changed the way he talked.
Totally.
Or when you watch him walk, I swear he's trying to do the George Jefferson strut.
God, you're racist.
That's my take.
As a black woman, you are so racist.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But back to Chelsea Handler. Idiocy. She referred to... Okay, one thing that I've always said is that white liberals love black people. They love black people.
Only when they vote for them.
They are the black person's champion. They're the ones that has their back.
When they vote for them.
When they vote for them and they're a liberal. If you're a black conservative or a black Republican or a black even one step over the line to the right side of the political aisle, they hate you and you are a target for insults and destruction.
Yep.
And Chelsea Handler referred to Dr. Ben Carson. Now granted, I know the man's not...
It doesn't matter. Say what she said. It doesn't matter what he is.
He said, you know, famed neurosurgeon, led a team of people separating conjoined twins who are conjoined at the head.
Raised up poor. In a poor neighborhood by a single mom, I believe. In the projects.
Chelsea Handler called Ben Carson a black white supremacist.
You know, and, where's her sorry ass getting fired?
Handler later transitioned into explaining that black white supremacists are black people who think white people are better than them. Has Ben Carson ever said anything of white people are better than me?
He ran for president as a black man,
right,
and was utterly hated by the left.
Black man. He's a full black man.
Yeah, he's full. He's not fake. He's not faking it.
He's full black man. Yes, but you know, of course, just like Condoleezza Rice being portrayed as Aunt Jemima, and Larry Elder being attacked, and Herman Cain being attacked, and I'm a no-name person, but I've gotten attacked, Matthew's been accused of making me up. You know, I've gotten called all kinds of names. Why? Because I don't subscribe to liberal Marxist ideology.
Right.
Shame on you, Chelsea, and shame on you, Netflix.
Why haven't they fired her?
This isn't the first controversial thing she said. Ben Carson, a black white supremacist. What the hell does that even mean? And the woman should be stripped of her show. Period. Right.
I mean, don't these companies have, you know, codes of conduct? You know, you're representing. I mean, if you work for a company, you're representing that company, even off the clock,
and letting her keep a job and continuing to give her a platform. They're showing exactly where they stand. I guarantee you, if Ben Stein had a show on Netflix, and he said that Obama was a supporter of the black racist terrorists of Black Lives Matter, because they are racist. They've said many racist things. They do terrorize cities and towns.
They're doing it right now. They're doing it tonight in St. Louis.
It's an accurate description of them. He would have gotten his show pulled, period.
Right. That's exactly right. Next story.
Oh, this just makes my blood boil. Absolutely makes my blood boil. You know, I think I said the other night, I'm so glad that my black parents raised me to love my country. I'm so glad that they raised me to believe that opportunity was available for everybody. They didn't make me believe that I couldn't achieve anything because the white man was holding me down. No, that's not how I was raised. And my family of 8 with my black parents who were from the South.
Right.
Who were raised in the 40s and 50s.
In Louisiana.
And I remember a couple of years ago in California.
Hey, tell that story real quick.
Which one?
Tell them about the neighborhood that you lived in Louisiana.
I never lived in Louisiana.
I mean, your parents did.
My mom. Yeah, my mom. So my mom's was from a small town in Louisiana. And I remember my mom telling me that, I mean, they were the only black family on their street in Louisiana in the 40s.
And what was it like?
They didn't have any problems. Was there segregation? Yes. I mean, there was, this pool for black people, this pool for white people and stuff. My grandfather was very well respected in the community. My childhood vacations consisted of going to Rain, Louisiana. Actually, that's where we went. We didn't have a lot of money. And we went to Rain, Louisiana in the 70s and 80s. I never had a problem in Rain, Louisiana when I was a little girl. When I was a teenager going there, I never did. My great aunt was a teacher in Louisiana. My aunt and uncle, my Aunt Herm and Uncle Murphy, they're my great aunt and great uncle. They actually built a house in the 1960s in Rain, Louisiana. That was a hell of a house for black people back then, I'll tell you that. It was a big house with air conditioning, big yard, and 1960s. A lot of people wouldn't think that black people could own a house like that in the South, but they did. So, I remember back in the day when Pride in America was a good thing. And somehow, some way, it started escalating under Barack Hussein Obama that Pride in America was xenophobic. It was racist. It was thinly veiled bigotry. I mean, just sickening. Absolutely sickening.
Yeah, remember his America apology tour?
Yes.
Well, the French, they think they're exceptional, too. Can't really say America's exceptional.
I remember a couple of years ago, maybe more than a couple of years ago, high school students in California were told they could not wear patriotic T-shirts.
Right, might trigger some
because it might trigger
some illegal,
some illegal student that was there. And one of the students who was told that happened to be half Hispanic. One of his parents was from Mexico, had immigrated here legally.
Don't you think if they don't like the damn country, they should get the hell out?
Right.
If you're still going to celebrate the country that you escaped from, if you're still
back there, then.
go the F back there.
Right.
Get the hell out.
So once again in California in Folsom.
Sorry. Now a Subway in St. Louis.
They're going to go make themselves sandwiches. Van Jones will say, they're just displaced people trying to find
It's because
food.
of Trump. Trump did it.
Oh, Commie Van Jones. So students in Folsom, California were told that chanting USA could appear inappropriate and intolerant.
How the hell is that?
The school said that they aren't saying they can't chant USA.
Oh,
Maybe
no.
think about better times to do it. After the Star Spangled Banner or following the Pledge of Allegiance. Because
or in your bedroom with the door closed.
If you chanted, over at a game, it might be seen as intolerant. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They said they haven't had any
You
complaints.
cannot celebrate the country you live in.
Any complaints about USA, chanting of USA, But they just want people to be aware.
And
that,
you know what? If somebody did complain, you know what they should say?
Get
the hell out.
Celebrating America.
The country you live in.
Can be seen as intolerant.
Yeah, get the hell out. Simple. Get the hell out.
Disgusting.
Leave.
Makes me sick.
You don't like it. You don't want to celebrate this country. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Amen, brother.
Very, very simple way to cure that. So, speaking of hateful, intolerant leftists, we would have talked about this yesterday if we had done a podcast and if we weren't distracted by the great Ben Shapiro speaking at Berkeley. There's another CNN host that wants to kill the President of the United States. Isn't that just great?
Anthony Bourdain is.
Just a great guy. I mean, so full of love. Guy's full of so tolerant.
Yes, so loving, accepting, tolerant.
Yes, a swell guy.
Sweetheart of a guy.
Peach, just a peach. So this is from WND WorldNet Daily. CNN celebrity chef says he had poisoned Trump with an extremely toxic plant. Quote, I have utter contempt for him. Utter and complete contempt. Woo! So he is the guy that goes around the world and
Obama did an episode
and eats their food and says how great every place is but America. He hosts his show. Anthony Bourdain, parts unknown, and basically he says he wants to poison the President of the United States with hemlock. So let's see here if we can play this, shall we? Okay, hold on here. No, there's a bunch of damn ads in this stupid ass.
I'll just read what he said.
Okay. I'm not going to read it. Go to WND. It's on there. He's talking about, what would he do if he had the opportunity.
Who was talking to him?
TMZ. To serve Kim Jong-un from North Korea, the communist dictator, and President Trump dinner. What would you serve them? And he said hemlock. And hemlock, of course, is
poison.
Deadly poison. Deadly poison.
And then later on, he tried to clean it up by saying, I didn't mean to say hemlock. I meant to say what, honey?
Kale.
So
he's joking. I mean, obviously, he's joking about the kale.
He's joking about the kale.
He meant the hemlock.
He is insulting your intelligence by saying that. And CNN, when are you going to fire him? Look at all these people. Kathy Griffin. And that other, whatever the heck that guy's name is, who also CNN took 24 to 48 hours to fire after he said something vulgar towards President Trump. How long will it take you, CNN, to take Anthony Bourdain's show off the air?
Oh, they won't. He'll probably get promoted. So, with that, we are out of time tonight on this late Friday special edition. Have you noticed every edition?
Special.
Every episode is special. So special.
Honey, of course, because we're together.
Oh, isn't that so precious?
It's special.
It's special. That's special, too. This Friday night edition, we're so excited. We got family coming to town tonight. Yoo-hoo! So, hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. God bless you. We love our 2 listeners. And thank you so much.
To get us more, guys.
Yeah, we're trying really hard to get up to 3 listeners. Think about it. If we go from 2 listeners to 4 listeners, we could call ourselves the fastest growing podcast. That's a 100% growth rate.
Boom, baby. Boom.
All right. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend.
God bless America.